It's meal time on Millie again, and we're eating in Indigo, California. Tonight Mark gets the steak he's been waiting all week for. It's the steak my brothers gave me when we were in Utah the other day, or about 5 days ago to be exact. So we just picked up a load here in California after we dropped off that baking soda load, and now we're headed to Logan Township, New Jersey, all the way across the country. So it'll be a good solid four shifts for us, but we'll be running out of hours before we make it all the way there. And we'll be stopping in St. Louis to do our 34 tomorrow morning after I drive. So I'll get my garlic here all set up and ready to go. Gonna make a little garlic mixture to put on the steaks. And there they are. Those look delicious. Garlic takes a little more work when it's fresh, but the flavor is worth it, worth the work. If you have the time, and I have the time while Mark finishes driving his shift out. He has about 30 minutes left on the clock. So we'll get this all smashed down so it's easy to peel the skins off of them. We hate picking up loads in LA in the middle of the day because the traffic is so horrendous. You can spend half of your shift just trying to get across the LA area. And between the traffic and the heat, it's pretty miserable. We really enjoyed COVID lockdown when it came to LA because traffic was really light and we could just fly through the city then. But now we prefer to get our loads so that we're going into the city in the middle of the night and can get out of there before rush hour starts in the morning. It doesn't always work out. Mark gets grumpy when that happens. Okay, get the pan heating up here. Get some butter going so that when I'm ready to throw the steaks in, my pan's nice and hot. I'm gonna give it a nice brown coating on the outside. We like our steaks, medium rare. So how long you cook it just depends on how thick your steak is and how well you like it cooked. So a regular steak I usually do about 3 to 4 minutes on each side with a real good hot pan, but these steaks look a little thicker, so we're gonna have to cook it a little longer. And once we dropped our load off, well, Mark dropped it off probably about noon, and then this place we go to refuses to release an empty, ever. They hoard empty trailers. Mark counted them and counted over 96 empty trailers sitting on their lot, which they argue that for every one load we bring in of baking soda, they are going to be shipping out 4 or 5 trailers of the packaged baking soda, and so they need the extra trailers. But I think 96 is a little ridiculous. So that meant Mark got to spend some of his shift driving from yard to yard looking for an empty somewhere else. We call it empty hunting, and it's not fun. They'll send you to a place to get an empty, and you'll drive in there and they'll say, we just gave the last empty we have available to another driver, and then they send you to another warehouse and you drive in there and they say, we're not releasing any empties today, and then they send you to another place. And the longest I have spent looking for an empty was 8 hours and about 450 miles as I drove from place to place. It was ridiculous, but it's our worst nightmare. When they say we don't have any empties, we just collapse. Oh, joy. So after adding a lot of salt and pepper to my garlic, we're going to add a little rosemary here out of my miniature spice rack, but I try to keep everything on the truck so I have everything handy regardless of what recipe I pick out each week. Anytime I go home, I'll pull that out of the truck and go through it and see what I can fill back up, so I have everything available. Give it one last chop, mix it all together really smooth and good, and we'll be ready to get these steaks going. We chose to take the 10 out of out of the LA area because it was closer to where we picked up than the 15, and we get out of the city faster that way. So we're gonna head across the 10 into Phoenix and then take the 17 up instead of the 15 to the 40. But they are pretty pretty much identical in mileage, so it really doesn't matter which way we go. And we've been dying to get back home. The last time we were home, our refrigerator broke down and we needed it replaced, and when we picked up the truck, they hadn't replaced the fridge, so we went by the house and grabbed a cooler so we would have something to keep some food cool in. And then just as we were about to leave town, we got a phone call, why aren't you bringing the truck in to get the new refrigerator? So we drove back to the terminal, dropped the truck off at the shop, and they put a fridge in. And ever since then, for 5 weeks now, we have been driving around with a gigantic cooler taking up extra space in our truck. And you don't really have extra space in a truck, just space is precious. We've been keeping it up on the top bunk, which is where I'll lay down if we're both sleeping at the same time, and it means I've had a cooler to rest my feet on. Okay, that steak, it looks like it's good, going good, gonna be delicious. Get my sticky hands cleaned up a little bit and move on to what we're going to have with it. When I first woke up, I chopped up some sweet potatoes real quick and seasoned them. Threw them in my air fryer so they could get nice and well cooked and crunchy on the toasty on the outside. So those were going to take a little time. And just throwing the rest together to go with it. We'll be able to eat. I usually just do the olive oil and some salt and pepper, but today I decided to go up a notch with some cumin and the chipotle pepper. So I bought these squash at the farmer's market. I need to use them, enjoy them before they have a chance to go bad on me. Add a little onions. I'm getting towards the end of the week and want to try to use up most of the vegetables I have left. I usually don't get to the end of the week with much left, but I was overzealous this week when I was shopping. So I suspect I'll be getting into Phoenix at about, I don't know, 10:30 or 11 tonight, depending on traffic and weather, and I'll be able to pop into the house for a minute, drop off the cooler, drop off some other things that we've got rattling around here that we don't need, and then we'll be able to pick up some things as well. We've ordered a couple things on Amazon. Mark has a new cap coming, and he got some glasses last time we were in town, and we haven't been able to pick those up yet either. So 5 weeks later, this is the first trip since we've been on the road that has brought us anywhere near our home. So tonight, Mark will have his sunglasses for the summer. Only 5 weeks late. Now, since I only have one cooktop here, I'm always got to figure out how to cook everything at once if I possibly can. So just sprinkling all the vegetables around the outside of the steak so they can start cooking up as well while we wait for the steak to be ready to toss. While I sit and wait for that to come together, I'll just clean up my kitchen a little bit so I'll be ready to start driving. Keep the cutting board up on the top bunk under the mattress. It just gives me a good surface for chopping things on. It's really hard to chop stuff when you got a mattress under your flimsy cutting board. It makes a big difference. Gives me a little more counter space. All right, a little bag of trash to throw out at the next rest area, and then I'll get our plates ready to go. It's gonna be a hearty dinner. I'll probably eat half of it before I start driving and then finish it off later when I do my 30-minute break. Ah, there we go. Got one side done. Looks like it's coming together really good. There we go. One for me and one for Mark. And then all the good juices off of the meat and all that garlic, we'll just toss that in with the vegetables now. Give it a good toss around and then throw a lid on it and let it steam up a little bit. Dinner's almost ready. Alright, there we go. Let's give it a couple more minutes. While we wait for that, we'll get our sweet potatoes out. See how they turned out. delicious. Okay, I am hungry. Usually at the end of my shift I'm pretty tired and I'm just ready to go to bed, so I don't really eat any breakfast before bed. By the time I wake up, it's ready to start cooking dinner. My tummy is ready. Alright, so there we go. Roasted sweet potatoes, a little garlic steak, and some veggies on the side. I already mentioned it's hard for me to cook for two. I haven't quite figured or mastered that. But Mark hasn't complained, and leftovers to eat for a snack as a lunch or something doesn't hurt anything. I checked the weather just a little bit ago, and it looks like I am going to be driving into a storm in Phoenix. A monsoon storm is coming through. Hope it's not too bad. Heaven knows we need the rain, so I hope the storm includes rain, not just a dust storm. Alright, mealtime on Millie, ready to dig in, and then we'll be back on the road, hitting the pavement.